Right now, technologies are changing our life on this planet and beyond, forever. But not in ways that you might think. Today we'll reveal 20 emerging breakthrough technologies that are about to transform everything we know. Picture this. At this very moment, a machine is reading brain signals and translating them into words faster than you can type. In a laboratory in California, scientists just grew a beating human heart from a patient's own cells. And beyond the physical limits of the silicon microchips, artificial super-intelligent consciousness might be waking up. This isn't science fiction. This isn't some distant future. This is happening today, in 2025, while most of the world scrolls past it without noticing. Hey everybody, my name is Thomas and thank you for joining us today. Today's video is going to blow your mind, because what we're witnessing right now is the greatest technological acceleration in human history. The gap between what's possible today and what was possible just 5 years ago is wider than the gap between the Wright brothers and the moon landing. We're living through a moment so transformative that our grandchildren will study it the way we study the Industrial Revolution. Except this revolution isn't taking centuries. Today, it's not even taking years, it's taking literal days or hours. The world is going to be wild. I'm going to show you 20 technologies that are operational right now. Not concepts or prototypes, but real systems being deployed, tested, and refined as we speak. Some will extend human life by decades. Others will merge our minds with artificial intelligence. A few might solve climate change, and several will force us to completely rethink what it means to be human. And here's what nobody's talking about. These technologies aren't developing in isolation. They're amplifying each other. AI is accelerating drug discovery. Quantum computers are powering AI breakthroughs. Neural interfaces are being designed by AI. It's a cascade effect, and it's accelerating faster than anyone predicted. Some of what you're about to see will excite you, some will unsettle you, all of it will challenge what you thought was possible. Because the future isn't coming, it's already here. Let's dive in. Agentic AI systems. You've heard of ChatGPT and similar AI assistants, but what's emerging now makes those look like pocket calculators. Agentic AI represents a fundamental leap. These aren't tools that respond when you ask. They're autonomous systems that think ahead, plan complex multi-step operations, and execute tasks without human intervention. Traditional AI waits for your prompt and generates a response. Agentic AI sets its own goals, breaks them into subtasks, uses multiple tools simultaneously, learns from failures, and adapts its approach in real time. Companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and DeepMind are racing to perfect systems that can function as digital employees, not assistants. Actual co-workers with agency and initiative. AGI isn't just better AI, it's fundamentally different. Current AI systems are specialists. They're brilliant at specific tasks, but helpless outside their training. AGI would be a generalist, capable of understanding, learning, and applying intelligence across any domain, just like humans do. Actually, better than humans do, and the gap between what we have now and true AGI is narrowing fast. OpenAI, DeepMind, and Anthropic are all racing toward this threshold. The latest models are showing something researchers call emergent capabilities. These are abilities that weren't programmed in, that appear spontaneously as systems scale up. GPT-4 can reason about physics problems it's never seen. It can write code in languages it wasn't explicitly trained on. It can understand context across wildly different domains simultaneously. But here's what's really significant. These systems are starting to learn how to learn. They're developing something that looks suspiciously like transfer learning at a fundamental level. Show them a new problem in mathematics, and they can apply reasoning strategies they developed in completely different fields. That's not narrow AI behavior, that's general intelligence emerging. DeepMind's latest systems can play hundreds of different games without being specifically programmed for each one. They understand abstract rules, develop strategies, and adapt to new scenarios. Google's multimodal models can seamlessly move between analyzing images, writing code, composing music, and solving logic puzzles. The boundaries between specialized systems are dissolving. Here's what keeps AI researchers up at night. We might not recognize AGI when it arrives. There won't be a single moment where a system suddenly becomes generally intelligent. It's happening gradually, capability by capability. And some researchers believe we're already in the transition zone. The systems we have today might be early-stage AGI that we're underestimating because they don't match our science fiction expectations. Think about what AGI really means. A single system that can do anything involving cognition, scientific research, creative arts, strategic planning, social interaction, technical innovation. Everything. And it doesn't get tired. It doesn't forget. It can split its attention across thousands of tasks simultaneously. One AGI could effectively replace entire companies' worth of human cognitive labor. The implications are staggering. Drug discovery that takes decades could happen in days. Scientific papers that take years to research and write could be completed in hours. Software development accelerates by orders of magnitude. Legal analysis, financial modeling, strategic consulting. Every knowledge-based field transforms overnight when AGI arrives. But here's the part that's both exciting and terrifying. AGI won't stop at human-level intelligence. Once a system reaches general intelligence, it can potentially improve itself. It understands its own architecture. It can identify weaknesses and optimize them. That creates a feedback loop. AGI improves itself, becoming more capable. That more capable version improves itself faster. And so on. We could go from human-level AGI to superintelligence, systems thousands or millions of times smarter than humans, in a time frame measured in months or even weeks. Not decades, not centuries. That's called an intelligence explosion, and it would be the most significant event in human history. Everything that comes after will be shaped by entities whose intelligence exceeds ours by margins we can barely comprehend. Some researchers think we have 5 to 10 years before AGI arrives. Others think we're already there and just haven't realized it. A few think we'll never achieve it, that there's something special about biological intelligence that silicon can't replicate. But the trend lines are undeniable. AI capabilities are accelerating. The things that seemed impossible 5 years ago are routine today. And the systems coming next are more capable still. Major tech companies are investing hundreds of billions of dollars in AI development. They're building data centers the size of small cities to train these models. They're recruiting the world's best minds in AI, neuroscience, and computer science. This isn't speculative research. This is an arms race. And everyone racing believes AGI is achievable in the near term. The question isn't whether AGI will arrive. The question is, what happens when it does? Will it be controlled by a single company, a government? Will it be open source? How do we ensure it's aligned with human values when it becomes smarter than us? These aren't abstract philosophical questions. They're practical problems that need solutions before AGI emerges. Because once it's here, we won't get a second chance to get it right. Multimodal AI. Text was just the beginning. The real revolution is multimodal AI. That seamlessly processes and generates text, images, video, audio, and code simultaneously, understanding context across all of them. The latest systems from OpenAI and Google can watch a video, understand what's happening, generate commentary, create variations, compose matching music, write code to recreate effects, and explain complex concepts across multiple formats, all in seconds. Show these systems a manufacturing process, and they'll identify inefficiencies invisible to human observers. Show them medical imaging, and they'll catch anomalies that experienced radiologists miss. Entertainment will transform completely. Imagine describing a movie you want to watch. Not searching for it, creating it. You specify the genre, tone, actors you want to see, and the AI generates a full-length, personalized film in the style of your favorite director. This isn't decades away. Companies are demonstrating early versions right now. Education revolutionizes when every student gets personalized content in their optimal learning format. Scientific research accelerates when AI can process findings across papers, experiments, and simulations simultaneously. We're not just getting better tools, we're getting fundamentally new ways of creating, learning, and understanding. Quantum error correction. Here's the problem that's haunted quantum computing since its inception. Qubits are insanely fragile. They exist in quantum superposition, but the slightest environmental interference destroys the computation. For decades, this made practical quantum computing seem impossible. That's changing. Fast. IBM, Google, and IonQ have achieved breakthroughs in quantum error correction that are genuinely historic. They've demonstrated logical qubits that actually improve in performance as you add more physical qubits. We've crossed a threshold. IBM's Quantum System 2 can now maintain quantum coherence long enough to run meaningful algorithms. Google's Willow chip demonstrated quantum error correction below the threshold needed for practical applications. The field isn't stuck in the lab anymore. It's racing toward commercial viability. Why does this matter? Because quantum computers don't just work faster than classical computers. They work fundamentally differently. Drug discovery revolutionizes. Every molecular interaction can be simulated with perfect accuracy. Instead of testing thousands of compounds hoping one works, we design drugs computationally with near certainty of their effects. Materials science transforms. Want a room temperature superconductor? Quantum computers can search the vast space of possible atomic configurations to find candidates. Battery technology, solar cells, structural materials, all become design problems rather than trial and error experiments. Neural interfaces with real bandwidth. Elon Musk's Neuralink made headlines with their first human trials, but the real story is how fast the entire neural interface field is advancing. We're talking about high bandwidth, bidirectional communication between human brains and digital systems. Neuralink's N1 implant uses over 3,000 electrode channels. Early patients are controlling computers, phones, and robotic arms with thought alone, with precision and speed that approaches natural movement. One patient set records playing video games faster than people using traditional controllers, just with their thoughts. But Neuralink isn't alone. Synchron has developed a stent road that inserts through blood vessels, avoiding open brain surgery entirely. Precision neuroscience created thin film arrays that sit on the brain's surface, potentially allowing much easier implantation. The field is exploding. Think about what high-bandwidth brain interfaces really mean. Direct access to information without needing to read or listen. Communication of complex concepts instantly, without language as a bottleneck. Control of multiple devices simultaneously through parallel thought streams. Enhancement of memory through direct digital storage. We're 5 to 10 years from neural interfaces becoming available for enhancement rather than just medical necessity. The people who adopt them first will have cognitive capabilities that make unaugmented humans look slow and limited by comparison. The question isn't whether human enhancement through neural interfaces will happen. The question is what we do when it creates a cognitive divide in society. AI protein design. Your body contains hundreds of thousands of different proteins, each performing specific functions. Proteins are molecular machines. They're enzymes, antibodies, structural elements, and signals that coordinate cellular processes. Life is, fundamentally, proteins doing their jobs. For decades, designing new proteins was nearly impossible. Then DeepMind created AlphaFold, which solved protein structure prediction with stunning accuracy. But what's happening now is even more significant. AI systems from DeepMind, Baker Lab, and companies like Generate Biomedicines can now design entirely new proteins that have never existed in nature. You describe what you want the protein to do, and the AI generates amino acid sequences that will fold into shapes optimized for that function. This is the ability to engineer biology at the molecular level with digital precision. Custom enzymes that break down plastics, turning pollution into raw materials. Therapeutic proteins that target specific disease mechanisms with no side effects. Biosensors that detect specific molecules at parts per trillion concentrations. Vaccines designed computationally and produced in weeks instead of years. Agriculture is transforming. Crops can be engineered with proteins that fix nitrogen more efficiently, require less water, resist pests without pesticides, and deliver optimized nutrition. Medicine is entering an era where we design drugs with atomic precision. Many diseases currently considered untreatable become engineering problems. Solid-state batteries in production. Electric vehicles have been held back by one fundamental limitation: batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are heavy, expensive, slow to charge, and carry fire risk. That era is ending. Solid-state batteries replace liquid electrolytes with solid materials. Energy density doubles or triples, meaning electric vehicles can travel 600 to 1,000 miles on a single charge. Charging times drop to minutes instead of hours. Safety improves dramatically because solid electrolytes don't catch fire. This is 2025. Toyota, Samsung, and QuantumScape have announced solid-state batteries entering production. Toyota plans vehicles with solid-state batteries hitting the market by 2027 and 2028, promising 750-mile range and 10-minute charging. This technology is transitioning from labs to factories. Electric vehicles become unambiguously superior to internal combustion in every metric. Range anxiety disappears. Charging becomes faster than filling a gas tank. The transition to electric transportation will accelerate dramatically. But transportation is just the beginning. Grid-scale energy storage becomes economically viable, enabling renewable energy to provide baseload power. Solar and wind become reliable, not intermittent. Consumer electronics transform. Smartphones could last a week between charges. Aviation is the frontier that most people don't see coming. Electric air taxis and regional aircraft become practical. Advanced geothermal energy. The Earth's core is hot, really hot. That heat constantly radiates outward, representing a truly massive energy source that's available everywhere, all the time, independent of weather or season. Advanced geothermal changes everything. Companies like Fervo Energy and Evor have demonstrated enhanced geothermal systems that work anywhere. They drill deep wells into hot rock, fracture it in controlled ways, pump water through, and return steam that drives turbines. This isn't experimental. Fervo completed a successful 30-day test at full commercial scale in Nevada. Google signed agreements to purchase geothermal power from Fervo. Geothermal provides baseload power. It runs 24/7 regardless of weather. Unlike solar and wind, it doesn't need batteries for backup. The capacity factor approaches 95%. They have tiny physical footprints, and they can be built anywhere. Costs are dropping rapidly. Fervo's drilling techniques come from the oil and gas industry. Within a decade, advanced geothermal could be the cheapest form of electricity generation, period. This is genuinely clean baseload power with no emissions. It could replace coal and natural gas plants everywhere. Lab-grown organs. Over 100,000 people in the United States alone are waiting for organ transplants. Many will die before a donor organ becomes available. The supply of donor organs can never match demand. That's changing. Multiple companies have made dramatic progress growing functional organs from patients' own cells. These aren't crude tissue samples. They're complex vascularized organs with proper structure and function. United Therapeutics has developed bioartificial lungs in late-stage trials. Ligenesis is growing new organs inside patients using lymph nodes as bioreactors. The technology works through several approaches. One method takes cells from a patient, reprograms them, then guides them to differentiate into the specific cell types needed. These cells grow on scaffolds that provide structure and vascular channels. Another approach uses decellularized donor organs as scaffolds. A third involves 3D bioprinting. Several research groups expect to reach human trials with lab-grown kidneys within 2 to 3 years. Hearts may take longer, but the progress is undeniable. We're approaching a future where organ failure becomes a treatable condition rather than a death sentence. Beyond transplantation, lab-grown organs enable pharmaceutical testing without human trials. Growing personalized tissue cultures allows testing how specific patients will respond to medications. We're gaining the ability to model human biology with unprecedented accuracy and control. Longevity therapeutics. Aging isn't just accumulating damage, it's driven by specific biological processes that can potentially be targeted and modified. Pharmaceutical companies and biotech startups are developing therapies that don't just treat age-related diseases. They target aging itself. Senolytics are drugs that selectively eliminate senescent cells, which accumulate with age and drive inflammation. Unity Biotechnology has senolytics in clinical trials showing improvements in arthritis, lung function, and other age-related conditions. These are measured clinical outcomes from targeting one specific mechanism of aging. NAD+ boosters aim to restore levels of a molecule critical for cellular energy production that declines with age. Companies like Elysium Health and Chromadex are pursuing NAD+-based therapies. Early human data suggest improvements in metabolic health. Yamanaka factors can reprogram adult cells back to a pluripotent stem cell state, essentially resetting the cell's age. Researchers found that partial reprogramming can rejuvenate cells without fully de-differentiating them. Altos Labs, founded by Jeff Bezos, is pursuing this approach. Early results in animals show remarkable tissue rejuvenation. None of these therapies will grant immortality, but they could extend health span, the period of life spent in good health. Imagine your 80s feeling like your 50s. Some researchers believe combinations of these therapies could extend human lifespan by decades while keeping people healthier throughout. Autonomous construction robots. Construction has resisted automation more than most industries. That's changing fast. Multiple companies have demonstrated construction robots that can work autonomously on complex tasks. Canvas Systems developed drywall finishing robots. Dusty Robotics created a robot that marks building layouts with sub-millimeter precision. Construction Robotics built the SAM 100, which lays bricks faster than human masons. These aren't prototypes, they're working on actual construction sites right now. The technology is advancing on multiple fronts. Computer vision enables robots to perceive and navigate construction environments. Manipulation systems give them dexterity approaching human capabilities. AI planning systems handle coordination and adaptation. And 3D printing of structural elements is starting to complement traditional construction. Within a decade, we'll see buildings constructed primarily by robots with human supervision. The real transformation comes when you combine autonomous construction with AI design systems. Buildings could be designed computationally, then constructed by robots with minimal human intervention. The time from concept to completion could drop from years to months. Personalized mRNA therapeutics. The COVID-19 vaccines proved mRNA technology works at scale, but vaccines are just the beginning. The same platform can be used to program cells to produce any protein you can sequence. It transforms medicine from discovering molecules to designing genetic instructions. BioNTech and Moderna are developing personalized cancer vaccines. They sequence a patient's tumor, identify unique mutations, and create an mRNA vaccine that teaches the immune system to recognize those specific cancer cells. Early trials show impressive results. We're teaching immune systems to eliminate cancer with precision. The same technology applies to genetic diseases. If a condition results from a missing or defective protein, you can potentially treat it by delivering mRNA that codes for the correct version. Moderna has therapies in development for rare genetic diseases that currently have no treatment. Regenerative medicine is another frontier. mRNA can instruct cells to produce growth factors or structural proteins, promoting tissue repair. Researchers are exploring mRNA therapies to regenerate heart tissue after heart attacks, repair nerve damage, and even promote organ regeneration. The pharmaceutical industry is pivoting hard toward mRNA therapeutics. The production process is faster and more flexible than traditional drug manufacturing. Design to production can happen in weeks rather than years. We're watching the beginning of programmable medicine. Space-based solar power. Solar panels in space receive constant, intense sunlight without atmospheric interference or nighttime. They could potentially beam that energy to Earth, providing clean baseload power anywhere on the planet. This concept has existed for decades but remained economically impossible. That calculation is shifting. SpaceX's Starship promises launch costs below $100 per kilogram, potentially falling to $10 per kilogram with full reusability. At those prices, launching the massive structures needed for space solar becomes economically feasible. China has announced plans to test space-based solar power demonstration systems by 2030. Large arrays of lightweight solar panels would orbit in geostationary position. They'd convert solar energy to microwaves or lasers and beam it to receiving stations on Earth. Those receivers would convert the beamed power back to electricity for the grid. Space solar provides power 24/7 with no weather dependence. It can beam energy to any point on Earth, enabling development in remote regions without infrastructure. A single orbital power station could potentially generate gigawatts continuously. And it's completely clean with zero emissions. The physics works, the economics are approaching viability, and multiple governments and companies are seriously pursuing development. Space-based solar might deploy sooner than most people expect, fundamentally changing global energy infrastructure. AI chip design. Designing computer chips is extraordinarily complex. Modern processors contain billions of transistors. Human engineers spend years optimizing layouts. AI is now better at this than humans, and it's improving exponentially. Google's AI designed chips for their own tensor processors, creating layouts that exceeded human-designed versions in performance and efficiency. The AI explored design spaces too vast for humans to search. More recently, AI systems have designed specialized chips for AI workloads, creating a recursive improvement loop. AI designing better AI hardware. Cadence and Synopsys, the major electronic design automation companies, have integrated AI throughout their tools. What used to take teams of engineers months can now be accomplished in days with better results. This matters because chips are fundamental to everything digital. Better chip design means better performance, lower power consumption, and lower cost across all electronics, and AI is accelerating that improvement dramatically. The implications compound. AI designs better chips. Those chips enable more powerful AI. We could see performance improvements that seemed decades away arrive in just a few years. Synthetic biology programming languages. Biology has traditionally been a science, not an engineering discipline. You couldn't design organisms the way you design software. That's changing. Synthetic biology is becoming true biological engineering, complete with programming languages for DNA. Ginkgo Bioworks and academic labs have developed tools that let scientists program cells like computers. You specify what you want the organism to do. The software generates genetic sequences. You synthesize that DNA, insert it into cells, and they perform the designed functions. It's genetic code running on biological hardware. Engineered microbes produce pharmaceuticals, chemicals, fuels and materials more efficiently than traditional manufacturing. Artemisinin, an anti-malarial drug, is now produced by engineered yeast. Spider silk proteins are grown in bacteria, enabling production of ultra-strong fibers. Agriculture is being transformed by engineered crops with entirely new capabilities. Drought resistance, nitrogen fixation, enhanced nutrition, pest resistance without pesticides. Yield improvements of 50% or more are achievable. This could revolutionize food security while reducing agriculture's environmental impact. Environmental remediation uses engineered organisms to break down pollutants or capture carbon. Bacteria designed to consume plastic waste are in development. Algae engineered for carbon capture could pull CO2 from the atmosphere more efficiently than any mechanical system. We're approaching biology as a manufacturing platform. Instead of building factories with machines, we're programming cells to build whatever we need. As the tools improve, the range of what we can program cells to do expands. We're not just modifying life, we're becoming capable of designing it. Digital twins. Imagine a perfect virtual replica of something physical. A jet engine, a factory, a power grid, or even an entire city. A digital twin that updates in real time, incorporating live sensor data, simulating physics accurately, and predicting future behavior. Companies like Siemens, General Electric, and Microsoft are deploying digital twin technology across industries. Aircraft manufacturers create digital twins of engines that predict maintenance needs before failures occur. Formula One teams run digital twins of race cars that optimize strategy continuously during races. Singapore created a complete virtual replica of the entire city-state, modeling traffic flow, energy consumption, building performance, and environmental factors. Planners can simulate changes before implementation, testing new infrastructure or policies in the digital twin to predict outcomes. Healthcare is adopting digital twins for personalized medicine. Researchers are creating virtual organs or whole-body models for individual patients. These digital twins can simulate how a patient will respond to treatments, enabling doctors to test therapies virtually before administering them. The trajectory is toward digital twins of increasingly complex systems, national infrastructure, ecosystems, supply chains, even the global economy. As sensing becomes ubiquitous and computational modeling improves, we'll gain the ability to simulate and optimize systems at every scale. Ambient intelligence systems. Forget voice assistants that need wake words. The next wave of AI is ambient intelligence that perceives, understands, and acts without explicit instructions. These systems use networks of sensors, cameras, and microphones to maintain constant awareness of environments. Amazon, Google, Apple, and Chinese tech giants are all developing ambient intelligence platforms. Your home, office, or car becomes an intelligent entity that recognizes who's present, understands what they're doing, predicts what they'll need, and adjusts everything. Accordingly, no commands necessary. Imagine walking into a room. The lighting adjusts to optimal levels based on the time of day and the task you're about to perform. Temperature shifts to your preference. If you're starting work, relevant displays activate. If you're cooking, the kitchen surfaces light up with recipe instructions. If you're settling in to relax, entertainment options appear. This isn't about convenience, it's about eliminating cognitive load. Every day you make thousands of small decisions about your environment. Ambient intelligence handles all of it invisibly. Your conscious mind gets that capacity back for things that actually matter. Modern AI systems can watch you work and understand not just what you're doing, but what you're trying to accomplish. They read your frustration and adapt to reduce friction. They notice your fatigue and adjust to maintain productivity. They learn your patterns so thoroughly that the environment anticipates your needs before you're conscious of them. Privacy concerns are obviously massive. These systems require constant surveillance to function. The better ambient intelligence works, the more it needs to know about you. Society hasn't figured out how to navigate that trade-off yet. Neuromorphic computing. Traditional computers process information in a fundamentally different way than brains. They execute instructions sequentially, shuttling data between memory and processors. Your brain runs on about 20 watts. A data center running AI models uses megawatts. That's a 1,000,000-to-1 efficiency gap. Intel's Loihi 2 and IBM's True North chips don't have traditional processors and memory. They have millions of artificial neurons connected by artificial synapses. Information propagates through networks, just like neural activity in brains. The result is that they consume thousandths of the power required by conventional computers for similar tasks. This matters because AI is becoming computationally absurd. Training large language models requires thousands of GPUs running for months, consuming gigawatt hours of electricity. Neuromorphic chips could run AI models that currently require data centers on devices small enough to fit in your pocket, using battery power that lasts weeks. Neuromorphic systems excel at pattern recognition, sensory processing, and real-time decision-making. They're ideal for robotics, autonomous vehicles, and edge computing where power and latency matter. Drones could navigate complex environments with insect-level intelligence on hardware weighing grams. We're not replacing conventional computers, we're adding a new category of computation that handles tasks our current architectures struggle with. Imagine AI systems that learn continuously from experience without massive retraining. Robots with reflexes as fast as living creatures. Sensors that intelligently process information at the source. Volumetric displays. Holograms have been science fiction staples for decades. Now, they're becoming real. not projected illusions. Actual volumetric displays that create three-dimensional images floating in space, visible from all angles without special glasses. Light Field Lab has created displays using billions of tiny projectors that emit light in specific directions, creating a light field that mimics real objects. Looking Glass Factory produces holographic displays already being used for medical imaging, design, and entertainment. Their technology is shipping in commercial products today. Medical imaging benefits enormously. Surgeons could examine CT or MRI scans as 3D objects floating in space, rotating and sectioning them naturally. Design and engineering are transformed. Instead of viewing CAD models on screens, designers manipulate physical feeling 3D representations. Entertainment and communication are obvious applications. Imagine video calls where the other person appears as a 3D presence in your space. Or gaming where the game world exists as a volumetric object you look into and interact with. Education could show students anatomical models or molecular structures as tangible 3D objects they explore from every angle. Current volumetric displays are expensive and limited in size, but the technology is improving rapidly. Within a decade, volumetric displays could become common in professional settings. Within 2 decades, they could be consumer products. We're moving from a world of screens to a world where digital content exists in 3-dimensional space alongside physical reality. Brain-computer interfaces for communication. One specific application deserves focus because it's progressing faster than expected. Direct brain-to-brain communication, not metaphorically, actually transmitting thoughts, concepts, or sensory experiences from one brain to another digitally. Research groups have demonstrated proof-of-concept systems. In one experiment, a person looking at an image had their visual cortex activity recorded. That neural data was transmitted over the internet to another person, whose brain received the signals through non-invasive stimulation. The second person reported perceiving vague visual impressions corresponding to the image. The bandwidth was low and the experience crude, but it worked. Information transferred directly between brains. More sophisticated experiments have transmitted motor commands. A person thinking about moving their hand generated neural signals that were decoded and used to control another person's hand movement. We can record thoughts in one brain, encode them digitally, transmit them, and decode them in another brain. As neural interface bandwidth increases, this technology will mature rapidly. High-bandwidth brain interfaces could enable sharing of complex thoughts, memories, or skills. Imagine transmitting not just information about how to perform a task, but the actual neural patterns associated with expert performance. The implications for human society are profound. Language has been humanity's primary communication technology for hundreds of thousands of years. Brain-to-brain communication could supplement or even replace language in some contexts. That would be transformative beyond almost anything in human history. We're decades from seamless thought sharing, but the trajectory is clear. What seemed like science fiction fantasy a decade ago is now an engineering problem. The first crude forms are working in labs today, and the long-term destination is communication more intimate and high bandwidth than language ever allowed. These 20 technologies aren't isolated developments. They're weaving together into a transformation more profound than most people grasp. AI accelerates every other technology. Quantum computers enable AI to solve previously impossible problems. Neural interfaces merge human and artificial intelligence. Synthetic biology programs lifelike software. Within 10 years, the world will be unrecognizable in ways both wonderful and unsettling. Medical conditions that kill millions today will be curable. Energy will be abundant and clean. Manufacturing will be flexible and sustainable. Human cognitive abilities will be augmentable, and the pace of change will continue accelerating. But these capabilities come with profound challenges. How do we govern technologies that reshape biology, consciousness, and the fabric of society? How do we ensure benefits are widely shared rather than concentrated? How do we make collective decisions fast enough to matter when technology is advancing exponentially? We're living through the most consequential moment in human history. The decisions made in the next decade will shape not just this century, but potentially the entire future of intelligent life on Earth and beyond. The future isn't approaching, it's already here, unfolding in labs and companies around the world. And whether you're paying attention or not, it will change everything. The question isn't whether these technologies will arrive, they're arriving now. The question is what we do with them, and who gets to decide. That's on us. All of us. Because the future isn't something that happens to humanity. It's something we're creating, intentionally or not, with every choice we make. Stay curious, stay informed, and recognize that you're witnessing history not as it was, but as it's being made. The technologies we've explored today are just the beginning. What comes next will be even more profound. Thanks for watching, and if you want to keep exploring the future as it unfolds, make sure you're subscribed, because this is only going to get more interesting from here.